Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from the first group and I will tell you the members of the first group. So there are Annisya Innaz and also me, Latifah Hediati. So guys, for today we are going to explain our presentation. This is about parts of speech. I bet you have already known it before because in the first semester you have already learned it in the basic structure class. Part of speech is a term used in traditional grammar for one of the 8 main categories into which words are classified according to their functions in sentences. Part of speech tell us how a word in a sentence. Part of speech also known as word classes. These are building blocks of grammar. As I told you before, there are 8 main categories, which are noun, verb, adjective, pronoun, adverb, conjunction, preposition, and interjections. So guys, as I told you before, there are 8 main categories. And I would like to explain the first main category, which is noun. Noun, or you can call it in Indonesian, kata benda. Noun is a word that functions as the name of a specific object or set of objects, such as living creatures, places, actions, qualities, status of existence, or ideas. Noun encompasses most of the words of a language. There are 7 types of noun, which are common noun, proper noun, collective noun, abstract noun, concrete noun, countable noun, and uncountable noun. The first type of noun, common noun. Common noun names any person, place, thing, or activity. Common noun refers to categories of things in general, never to specific examples. I would like to give you an example of common noun in a sentence. I'd like to go to university tomorrow. So the word university is the common noun because university is the name of a place. Next, the second type is proper noun. Proper noun is the names of people, things, institutions, and nations. Proper nouns are more specific and begins with capital letter. And I would like to give you an example in a sentence. Me and my mom went to Canada 3 months ago. The word Canada here is the proper noun because Canada is the name of nation. The third type is collective noun. Collective noun refers to groups of various types. Collective noun can be used in both the singular and plural. I would like to give you an example of collective noun in a sentence. My team has won the mathematics competition yesterday. So the word team here is collective noun because team is a group of people who work together. Next, the fourth type is abstract noun. Abstract noun refers to concepts, ideas, and emotions. Abstract noun is noun that you cannot touch and they are not made of materials. I would like to give you an example of this noun. I got a lot of happiness moments in this year. So the word happiness, you cannot see, you cannot touch, but maybe you can feel. So the word happiness here is the abstract noun. Okay, move to the fifth type. The fifth type, concrete noun, refer to things we see and have physical existence. Concrete noun can be both countable and uncountable. So this is an example of concrete noun. That dog needs some water. The word water here is concrete noun. Next, countable noun. Countable noun is the noun that can be counted. Countable noun can take an article. For example, I have a book over there. The book here is countable noun because we can count the book. Like 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, and so on. The last type is uncountable noun. Uncountable noun is the noun that can't be counted. Uncountable noun can be both concrete and abstract noun and are always used in the singular form because they can't be counted. For example, that man can sabotage time. Time here, we know that we cannot count the time. So the word time here is the uncountable noun. Okay, now let's move to the second main category, which is verb. Verb, you can call it in Indonesian kata kerja. Verb is a word that conveys an action, an occurrence, or a state of being. There are 9 types of verb, which are regular verb, irregular verb, transitive verb, intransitive verb, finite verb, non-finite verb, auxiliary verb, modal verb, and main verb. So the first type is the regular verb, or you can call it weak verb. Regular verb forms its past tense and past participle by adding d or ed in the end. I would like to give you an example in a sentence. I filled the jar with potato chips. The word filled here is the regular verb because it has ed in the end. The second type is irregular verb or strong verb. Irregular verb doesn't form the past tense by adding d or ed. This is an example of it. I ate pepperoni pizza last night. The word ate here is the irregular verb because you can see ate is not adding a d or ed in the end. And ate is from the word eat and it has past participle eaten. Next, transitive verb. Transitive verb followed by a direct object. For example, she is borrowing a book from library. The word borrowing here is the transitive verb because it followed by a direct object, which is a book. Next, intransitive verb. Intransitive verb doesn't take a direct object. For example, he is sleeping tightly. The word sleeping here is the intransitive verb because it doesn't take a direct object. Next type is finite verb. Finite verb is the actual verbs which are called the roots of sentences. A finite verb shows agreement with a subject and is marked for tense, also it can stand by itself in a sentence. Finite verb only forms in present tense and past tense. For example, she thinks of me every day. The word thinks here is the finite verb. Next, non-finite verb. Non-finite verb is not the actual verb. Non-finite verb is not marked for tense and do not show agreement with a subject, also can occur on its own only in a dependent phrase or clause. I will give you an example of non-finite verb. Jogging is good for our health. So the word jogging here is the non-finite verb. This is Sharon. And the actual verb is the word is. Next is auxiliary verb, or you can call it helping verb. Auxiliary verb extends the main verb by helping to show time, tense, and possibility. The auxiliary verbs are to be verbs have and do. For example, he is playing guitar alone. The word is here is the auxiliary verb. Next, modal verb. Modal verb is a kind of auxiliary verb. It assists the main verb to indicate possibility, potentiality, ability, permission, expectation, and obligation. Modal verbs are can, could, must, may, might, ought to, shall, should, will, and would. I will give you an example. I will go there. So simple, right? The word will here is the modal verb. And then the last type of verb, main verb, or you can call it lexical verb. Main verb is the any verb in English that isn't an auxiliary verb. Main verb conveys a real meaning and doesn't depend on another verb. For example, I eat noodles on the dining table. The word eat here is the main verb and it's not an auxiliary verb. Okay, next category is adjective, or you can call it kata sifat in Indonesian. Adjective is a word that modifies a noun or noun phrase or describes its referent. So there are each types of adjective, which are proper adjective, descriptive adjective, quantitative adjective, numeral adjective, interrogative adjective, possessive adjective, demonstrative adjective, and distributive adjective. So for the first type is proper adjective. Proper adjective modifies nouns and pronouns. Proper adjectives are formed from proper nouns. I will give you an example in a sentence. This box has Islamic design. The word Islamic here is proper adjective because Islamic is formed from Islam proper noun. The second type is descriptive adjective. Descriptive adjective describe nouns or pronouns. Descriptive adjective are used to describe different qualities of the noun or pronoun that is being modified, such as smell, taste, texture, appearance, and shape. This is an example of descriptive adjective. I don't like this bitter coffee. The word bitter here is descriptive adjective because it is a taste. The third type is quantitative adjective. Quantitative adjective qualifies a noun or pronoun by quantity. I will give you an example of it. He has no time to submit his assignment. The word no here is quantitative adjective. The fourth type is numeral adjective. Numeral adjective describes the number of nouns or the order of nouns being described. For example, there are 12 months in a year. 12 here is the numeral adjective. Next is interrogative adjective. Interrogative adjective modifies nouns by asking questions. For example, what is he doing here? The word what is interrogative adjective. Next, possessive adjective is a word that sits before nouns to show ownership. For example, we made a deal with their boss. The word their here is possessive adjective. Next type is demonstrative adjective. Demonstrative adjective expresses the relative position of a noun in time or space. Demonstrative adjectives are singular or plural. For example, those ants bite me hardly. The word those here is demonstrative adjective. The last type is distributive adjective. Distributive adjective refers to members of a group as individuals. This is an example of distributive adjective. Either of you is lying. The word either here is distributive adjective. Okay, then let's move to the next category, which is pronoun. Pronoun in Indonesian means kata ganti, kata benda. Pronoun is a word that substitutes for a noun or noun phrase. There are 7 types of pronoun. So, the first one is personal pronoun. Personal pronoun refers to a particular person, group, or thing. Personal pronoun inflects for case to show whether they are serving as subjects of clauses or as objects of verbs or prepositions. There are 3 kinds of personal pronouns, which are subjective personal pronoun, objective personal pronoun, and possessive personal pronoun. So this is the table of personal pronouns. This is the first person using singular or plural. The singular one is I in subjective personal pronoun, and then me in objective personal pronoun, and in possessive personal pronoun is my or mine. The first person plural one is we in subjective personal pronouns, us in objective personal pronoun, and our or ours in possessive personal pronoun. The second person using singular or plural one, whether subjective personal pronoun and objective personal pronoun is the same, which is you. And in possessive personal pronoun is your or yours. Okay, the last one is for third person. There are masculine, feminine, neuter, and inanimate, plural, or efficient. For subjective personal pronoun, we have he, she, it, and they. For objective personal pronoun, we have him, her, it again, and them. And also, for possessive personal pronoun, there are his, her or hers, its, their or theirs. And then I will give you an example for each kinds of personal pronoun. For subjective personal pronoun, he thought you were leaving. So the word he and you here is the subjective personal pronoun. And then objective personal pronoun, my mother is calling us. The word us here is objective personal pronoun. And then possessive personal pronoun, all the books here are mine. So the word mine here is the possessive personal pronoun. Okay, next, the second type is demonstrative pronoun. Demonstrative pronoun points to a particular noun or to the noun it replaces. Demonstrative noun can indicate items in space or time, and they can be singular or plural. Also, when used to represent a thing or things, it can be either near or far in distance or time. So there are 3 rules of demonstrative pronoun. First rule is they always identify nouns. The second one is they often describe animals, places, or things, but they can also describe people. And the third one is they stand alone. They can stand alone. I will give you an example in a sentence. These are my grandma's cooking. So the word this here is demonstrative pronoun by using plural. Next is indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronoun refers to unspecified or unidentified person or thing. Indefinite pronoun includes quantifier, universals, and partitive. Many of the indefinite pronouns can function as determiners. For example, some college students attended the opening ceremony. The word some here is indefinite pronoun. Next, there is interrogative pronoun or pronominal interrogative. Interrogative pronoun refers to introduce questions. When immediately followed by a noun, whose, which, what function as determiners or interrogative adjectives. For example, which is worse, falling or never trying? The word which here is the interrogative pronoun. Next is reflexive pronoun. Reflexive pronoun ends in self or self, and it used as an object to refer to a previously named noun or pronoun in a sentence. Reflexive pronouns usually follow verbs or preposition. Okay, this is an example of it. She couldn't recognize herself. The word herself here is the reflexive pronoun. The 6th type is intensive pronoun. Intensive pronoun ends in self or self and emphasize its antecedent. Intensive pronouns often appear as appositives after nouns and other pronouns. For example, he himself paid for the book. Himself here is the intensive reflexive pronoun because it emphasizes its antecedent, he. The last type is relative pronoun. Relative pronoun introduce the adjective clauses. For example, the man who sits over there is our teacher. The word who here is the relative pronoun.
Hello, my name is Annisya Innaz, and now I want to explain about part of speech. And this adverb is a word that describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb, and usually use ly in a sentence. Adverb have common types are: number 1, adverb of time or when, describe when or how action happens, and auxiliary word used to provide additional something about time. An example: my brother has already playing with their friends, then go home early. And number 2, adverb of manner or how, describe how action happens and provide additional conditions or how an event occurred. An example: the sun is extremely hot today. And number 3, adverb of place or where, describe where something happens. An example: come here please, I need your help. And number 4, adverb of frequency is used to answer how often the frequency of activities carried out by someone. An example, I've been thinking I never finished this math. And number 5, adverb of degree or to what extent is usually not to answer the question, not just a nominal, and can be used to the intensity of an event. An example, Mom's told me the chili very expensive now. And besides adverb function, there are two also types that can be distinguished. Number 1, interrogative can also take the form of question words such as how, when, why, and where. An example, where they come from. And number 2, conjunction is the transitional word combines and associates independent clauses. An example, after this all, she's finally fixed these problems. And next, conjunction is part of speech join words, ideas, phrases, or clauses together and shows how they are connected. They are four kind. Number 1, subordinating conjunction. These also join two clauses together, but in doing so, they make one clause dependent or subordinate upon the other. An example, I love him when I see the first time. And number 2, coordinating conjunction is FANBOY or for and nor, but, or yet so. An example, the new sofa so soft and comfortable. And the number 3, correlative conjunction. These parts of conjunction require equal or parallel structure after each one, like neither nor, not only but also. An example, Diva not only playing but also study in my room. And the number 4, conjunction adverb. This join independent clause together, like after all, also, as a result, therefore. An example, I'm in 18, therefore I already have a SIM card. And this structure conjunction, both are independent clauses at because in the middle, but the clauses together. Because feeling sick, I take the medicine, or I take the medicine because feeling sick. And next, the preposition shows the relationship in space or time or a logical relationship between two or more people, place, or things. Use noun, noun phrase, or pronoun to another words like on, at, in, about, with. And there are 3 types the preposition. The number 1, preposition of time. They are used to help indicate when something happens, or will happen. And the basic example like at, on, it, before, after. An example, she's leave at 7 o'clock. And number 2, preposition of place. They are also the most common preposition to indicate position. An example, he stands in front of me. And the number 3, prepositions of movement. They are less abstract than the preposition of place and time. Describe how something or someone move from one place to another. The basic example likes to talk into that there is movement towards a specific destination. An example, we have birthday party on Sunday, 7 March. Next, interjections, a word or phrase that expresses a strong feeling or emotion, like, hey, wow, ouch. They have 4 rules. The number 1, interjection express a sudden mood, emotions, and feeling with emphasis. The number 2, some interjections interrupt a conversation or a talk or hold someone's attention for a moment. And the number 3, some interjections express only yes or no. And the number 4, some interjections are used to get someone's attention. An example, wow, this movie is amazing. And it's the last part of speech. Thank you for watching.